Today is the 15th of March 2019, and when I woke up this morning I turned on the radio and they were talking about this mass shooting in New Zealand in a place called Christchurch. Now Christchurch is New Zealand's third largest city, but New Zealand is not really a place that you associate with mass shootings. In fact, it's rare. Normally you'll think about the United States, or I think there was a recent one in Brazil, but certainly New Zealand isn't a place where these things happen. Anyway, this man had walked into a mosque and the people there were worshipping for Friday prayers, which is what happens in Islam. And he's walked in. He's gone into two mosques actually in Christchurch, and he's shot. Well, there's 49 people that are dead, and there's quite a lot of injured people. And he's walked in with a machine gun and shot all these people. He's murdered them, and he's filmed all this. He had a camera on. He had what's called a head camera, and he's filmed it, and he's live broadcasted it to Facebook. So some people have actually seen it, and I believe the footage is out there. I wouldn't want to see it. I just, why would I want to see it? I wouldn't want to see somebody shooting somebody. But I believe this man's left behind a manifesto, a big 70 or 80 page manifesto of why he's done it, I guess, and all the rest of it. Now I'm not even sure whether he's still alive actually, or whether he's dead. I didn't pick up on that information, whether they've caught the man or whether he's turned the gun in on himself, which they sometimes do. When you do stuff like this, all it does is it just radicalises the opposition. So it's like two sides of the same coin. You've got what is known as the far right, which this man would identify with, and then the polar opposite is the jihadis, the extreme element of Islam, who have done some really bad, violent attacks around the world. But all it does is when you go in and kill a lot of Muslims that in this mosque, is it feeds into this dynamic, this negative energy, and then these guys are going to be angry now, and they're going to want revenge, so they could possibly go and do something in the future, and they'll see it as a holy war, really, that we're at some sort of war with East versus West. Now, even if you do have legitimate concerns, and I have some concerns because I'm not a big fan of religion in general, although I try and be balanced, and I do think there's wisdom in different scriptures, whether that's the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, or whatever else, books which I haven't even read, but I've read some of the Bible, and I believe there's wise stuff in Islam as well. But there's also bad stuff, there's violent stuff in some of these different scriptures and that, and I might have some concerns, but I treat people as I find them, and doing what this guy's done, not only is he a murderer, but he's a loser, he's no hero. He might think of himself as some sort of, what he's done is virtuous, and he's obviously got a big ego as well, to be filming himself doing it, some evil crime which he's done. He might see himself as a crusader, a heroic figure that will be talked about. Oh yeah, he is being talked about, but he's not. For the majority of people, this guy's just a mass murderer. He killed women, children, and men randomly, to make some sort of political statement. I don't know, what has he solved apart from killing people? There's a lot of a lot of grieving people now in New Zealand and families, and he's not solved anything. He's just he's just added to the problems of the world, or he's added. He's just. I don't know what he's done. He's just. But they'll never win. These people will never win. Whether it's Islamic terrorists, whether it's the far right, you won't win doing that. It happened in Northern Ireland in the 70s and 80s. One side would attack somebody, and then the other side would attack somebody, and then, it just never ends. It's a cycle of violence. It's just a negative cycle, and it won't end. It's just, and I know that some people say that Islam itself, that's built into their scriptures about taking over and stuff, which is, if it was, potentially it is worrying, I guess, if a religion becomes the majority, and it's there's nothing wrong with having concerns about I'm talking about concerns. I'm not talking about discriminating against people or beating people up or just treating people badly. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying it's proper. It's to have concerns about the future or about a religion is there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're eaten up with anger and hate and you're willing to kill innocent people, then you've lost. You were a total loser, and you've lost. You haven't won. Perhaps in your small group of followers, you may be seen as some sort of heroic figure, but to any sensible person, you're not. You've lost. And yeah, that's just some of my thoughts, really. I'd like to, if you've made it this far, I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this shooting in New Zealand. And I've tried to be respectful in my opinions. And yeah, thanks for listening.